What's happening, people, and welcome to Scarfey Talks Premier League podcast, Gameweek 33 review. It has been a while. I got my show back. Harry's allowed me back out of the cage of being in the background on Monday nights, and I'm so grateful to be back. So thanks to Harry and thanks to everyone that did ask for it to come back and all the great content creators and podcasters we had on the last show. But I'm joined by a brilliant panel. Well, I've got two of my three guests here. We will see if Spooks is going to turn up, but I've got to come to a man who is making his debut with us tonight, at least for my side. Whether he's been on with Harry or not, I don't know. But it is Johnny from Wolves Premier. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Good, especially after Wolves winning 5 on the bounce. We're on cloud 9 at the minute. So long, mate. Continue.
Yes, I completely agree, mate. I mean, even though Matthias Cunha is in talks with Man United just to sour your week out a little bit, but I thought after you guys shitting me cereal last weekend, I thought I'd have a little bit of fun at least with you on that one, mate.
Absolutely.
And obviously, one of my returning guests, John Sinclair TV. John, how you doing, mate?
Big up to you, my guy. Big up to you, Kallum and Wolves Premier, and big up to the chat as well. And it's good to come back and for joining you guys. And I've been really extremely busy over the last few weeks and months, sort of thing as well, doing my new content, doing around the vlogs, doing non-league, lower leagues, and you know what? I mean, big up to Torquay fans, Bury fans, Enfield fans. I did the last few vlogs and showing the love.
Nah, amazing, mate, amazing. So obviously, two of my great guests are here. Spooks, if he ever works out how to use his internet, gets his dongle working, and works out he's still not in the Stone Age like last time, will be great. Obviously, don't forget to like and subscribe to Harry's channel. As always, we can't keep doing this content without supporting Harry and everything and all the hard work that he does, Willsy does, and myself and all the other co-hosts as well. We do have a lot of exciting content coming up, so it'd be brilliant to have everyone liking and subscribing and keeping everything going. So let's go to the chat quickly. Obviously, evening Barney, as always, mate.
Big up, Barney.
I'll see you before the end of the season on here, mate. David Clark as well from Leicester. Great to have you here as always, mate. Jay, big up to you as well, man. Right, let's jump straight into it. So we travelled to West London to the Brentford Stadium and they played out a pretty amazing game. Not something that I kind of expected, a 4-2 win over Brighton. So I'm going to come to John first. I've just realised that Jace, I'm sorry for calling you John earlier, mate. I'm really sorry.
Don't worry. I've been called a lot worse. My missus says all sorts to me, so I'll take John any day of the week.
Yeah, I was going to say, God help what our missuses do to us. We love them, but they hate us. So it's wonderful, ain't it? It's wonderful.
Can't live with them.
Right, Jace, I'm going to come straight to you on this one, mate. I mean, kind of a polar opposite, isn't it, with these two teams? Because they've both got the same recruitment strategy, everything with data-led growth. Some of the best signings I've seen in the Premier League for a long time coming through in terms of young players and you would say league players, but lower league players coming in from the Championship, how well they're doing. So, I mean, how did you see this result being? A good win for Brentford or a very bad loss for Brighton?
I'd say a good win for Brentford. I mean, Brentford and Brighton are still relatively unfashionable teams. And that is no slight on what they've done because they've took the Premier League by storm and they've got a model. And that model has overtook so many clubs, including Wolves. Now, bearing in mind, we had the heady heights in the Premier League a few years back where we had 2 7th-place finishes. And clubs like Brentford and Brighton now have comfortably overtaken us. And that is down to their recruitment strategy. That they've stuck to it. They've clearly got a very, very good scouting network. And you know what? 2 good teams. And listen, 2 or 3 years back, you'd fancy them as whipping boys. But I went to Brighton a couple of years back under Julian Lopetegui and watched Wolves lose 6-0 to Brighton. So I know what a force they can be. I've also watched us this season lose heavily to Brentford. So these are two good teams. So, yeah, without taking sort of anything off Brentford at all on Brighton being poor, I think Brentford are a good, these are established Premier League teams now. So I thought it was a brilliant result for Brentford.
No, exactly, mate. And these two teams do seem to make up the best of the rest outside of the top six now. They are both vying for them last remaining European places, because I would say that the top four is probably not nailed on, but quite close to it. The top six, so these ones are probably going for the outside Conference League spots and that second Europa League spot that could be available if Spurs or United do win the Europa League or Chelsea wins the Conference League as well. So, John, I'm going to come over to you on this one, mate. Obviously, the goals come from, Brentford, 2 for Mbeumo, 1 for Visser, and 1 for Norgard, and for Brighton, Welbeck and Mitoma. Mbeumo and Visser are like the new Kane and Son partnership, aren't they, in the Premier League? These guys are unstoppable at the moment.
They're looking that way at the minute, aren't they? I mean, look, they're playing for a club that they're going to get game time and play every week, and they look really good, Visser and Mbeumo. I mean, look, we've been linked to Mbeumo as well, by the way, but there's going to be a lot of competition for him in the summer, I'm sure. But I think they're both ready to make the next step, if you know what I mean, into a bigger club, because I think they're ready for it. They've got Premier League experience, and I think they'll do wherever they go. But there's a massive 3 points for the Bees, and they've still got a slim chance of getting to Europe for the first time this season. Brentford and Tommy Frank's done a wonderful job at the football club. He really has. I mean, to keep getting them up is one thing, but to keep them there for about 4 seasons, right, it's just absolutely incredible for that football club. It really is. I mean, the way Brentford is running the club, the project are going on, they back their manager, they got faith in Tommy Frank, and I tell you what, right, it's working, They could have just, all right, you know what, we're the bigger manager's going to come in and make a difference, Thomas Frank's making a difference at the football club, They love playing for him. He plays good football, and the fans love him. He's a ledge, and hopefully things will get better for Brentford Football Club, But as for Brighton, I mean, Fabian, I think it would be all right. I mean, look, first season is going to be a tough season for him. They started well, on the drift a little bit. I mean, 1 win in the last 5 games, 6 games, very roaring for Brighton. We got to go there soon as well. Hopefully, we could just put them down a little bit more. But Brighton, good going forward, but I just do not understand Brighton at the back, because normally they're solid. They just conceded so many goals and that sort of thing. 4 against Brentford, that is not good enough, and they're losing daft games. I mean, also, Brighton's drawn too many games for me as well. We can turn those draws into wins, then they could be in the European spot. But in a minute, I think they're paying the price for conceding goals. And if you concede goals in the Premier League, you're going to get punished. But next season, it's going to be a different matter. But they spent 200 million quid, Brighton, 200 M's, and something right there in a minute, right? And I'm sure they need to hold on with Toma, and because I think it's been really good this season. But for me, I think Brighton's got to go again. I really do. And the bad news is that João Pedro got sent off, right? So he's going to face a 3-game ban. And that's not good. But big up to Brentford, big up to Tommy Frank. And well done.
No, exactly, mate, exactly. And Jason, is that you enjoying EastEnders? Or is that the other half?
No, I think that's me. I think my mum's got a TV. She has it loud for something. I'll go turn down in a minute. I speak so. Sorry about
I was going to say, I'm sorry, Jace. It looked like you was watching a TV, but it turns out it's actually not. John's mum that's watching it.
So, in this house, she's Peppa Pig.
Oh my God, that's why I don't have kids, mate. It's wonderful, it's peaceful, it's tranquil, and I still get to rage quit the football every single weekend. So
brilliant.
Right. So last question for both of you. Jace, in terms of Thomas Frank, do you think he's ready to take that next step up to a bigger club now, or do you think Brentford's his level?
He's definitely ready, but we see it with so many managers, and they take the next step and they go to what can sometimes be a poison chalice. I mean, I don't want to speak ill of Tottenham Hotspur, but they've had.
Listen, it's a joke. It's a joke, mate.
Who would want that job in terms of? It's a massive club, massive, great players, great stadium, great fan base. And I'm not just saying it. It's a dream, massive job for a lot of managers, but there's something not quite right. And until then, they're still going to keep churning over managers. If I was Thomas Frank, I would just stop at Brentford until I think I can't take this club any further. He might be getting near it now, but what a job he's done. And he is deserving of another club, but sometimes be careful what you wish for.
No, exactly,
100%,
mate.
100%.
Exactly. And John, last question for you.
Yeah,
what team do you think he'd do well at?
Thomas Frank, I think he'd do surpass a lot of people. He's ready for a big club, I say. Yeah, he needs to make that step up, but I think he's going to be there for a long time at Brentford because he loves that football club. Yeah, but for me, I think Everton would have been suited for him. I think Everton would have been fine for him. Do you know what I mean? I think he'd do a good job at Everton there. And we look down to it. I think he'd do well at Brighton. I think Brighton would suit him to the ground.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But like the Wolves fans say, what's your name, by the way, mate?
Jason. Sorry, Jason.
Sorry,
I should have put my name on, shouldn't I? Sorry.
No, sorry. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. I mean, I does like myself. I make mistakes well, but there you go. But for me, I mean, I'm not going to lie. If, from like you said, you just got to be careful what you wish for. For me, Tottenham, I stay well away from Tottenham because I think it eat him up in a minute, like, and the way Daniel Levy's going on in a minute, like. But for me, I think Thomas Frank could do a good job at a club like Everton Football Club, Brighton, yeah. And at the meantime, he's just going to bide his time, and he's been in the Prem long enough to see what's going on. And he's thinking, you know what? I'm happy at Brentford. I'm comfortable at Brentford, you know what I mean? But for me, I say those teams I mentioned, Everton, Brighton, and there you go.
No, that's fair, mate. That's fair. Right. Let's jump straight down to Selhurst Park with Bournemouth travelling up South Coast Road. Apparently, there's some sort of rivalry between Palace and Bournemouth, like what they have with Brighton. I honestly don't see it. There's about 60 miles between the two of them and all that, which is quite fun and delusional as we are as football fans. We do like it. But with a game that had so much of a big making to it, it ended in a 0-0 draw. So, Jace, I'm going to come over to you on this one, mate. And obviously, through this, there was quite a lot of controversial refereeing decisions in this one, with Chris Richards getting sent off. There was also calls for Alex Scott to be sent off as well for very similar tackles in this game. I think this one's got officiating discrepancies and questions over refereeing standards again. Can you give me a little bit more insight into it by any chance?
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. I haven't seen the highlights of that game, so I can't really comment. But what I will say is about a 0-0 draw. There's two safe clubs there. They're not going down. They haven't really got a great deal to play for, and sometimes clubs in that position do take the foot off the gas subconsciously, I suppose, with refereeing decisions. Listen, do they balance themselves out in the end? I'm not a fan of VAR. I would be if it was controlled and used properly, but it clearly isn't. And what should be fit for purpose really isn't. So, look, it's such a frustrating thing where, I used to love going to the football and debating a decision in the pub after and saying, was it a sending off? Was it a goal? Was it this? Was it that? And now it's almost so clinical. And a goal goes in and you don't know whether to cheer, and then you cheer, then you stop cheering, then you cheer again, and you just think, do you know what? And I think it just frustrates everyone. But what it's doing now is we're all focusing on these decisions. So VAR should be getting every decision right 100% of the time, but it doesn't. And this is the problem now. So what we do, we're talking about decisions more than we've ever talked about them. So it really does spoil it for me. But yeah, it was a 0-0 board draw, and so much so I couldn't even be bothered to watch the highlights.
No, that's fair, mate. That's fair. I mean, John, I'm going to come to you. So in this game, there was 7 yellow cards across both teams. I mean, the ref sounds like he couldn't control the game, and then VAR having a shocker as well. Pretty boring in terms of stats as well. It was pretty one-sided, with Bournemouth having about 11 shots and yet couldn't convert any of them. So what can you take from this game, mate? Because I honestly can't, apart from bad VAR and bad officiating again.
Only going by the highlights as well. I mean, look, it's still to be 0-0 battle. I'm not going to lie, but I thought the referee, for what I've seen, was woeful, absolutely woeful. And it is what it is, but it's just poor performance. I mean, for poor spectacle of the game. I mean, Bournemouth did try to score, but I expected Bournemouth to win that game because they had the two sides of Bournemouth were the better side. I know Ollie Glasser's done a good job there at the minute, and Ariola has done a stellar job over there. But I would put that as a Bournemouth win. But one thing I'm going to say, right? I mean, if the game was lost by the Prem and the referee, he was awful. 7-yard card says it all, and good point for Palace, but Bournemouth needed to win that game, and he didn't. So,
no, Bournemouth's still trying to chase that sort of elusive European spot. They have been in and around it, but they keep seeming to drop off at the last minute. And I have enjoyed watching Bournemouth at times this year, but they're the same as Spurs. They've gone through the injury crisis, and their manager's pretty similar to Big Ange as well. So let's move on from the Bournemouth result. And we go up to Merseyside. We're going to one of the final games at Everton, and Manchester City travelled across from Manchester and got a respectable 2-0 win there. Obviously, I've been quite impressed with Everton's resurgence under David Moyes. They've been very resilient, very tight. They've won some games, they've not won all the games, but it's been pretty positive from them. So, Jace, looks like it's just me and you. So in this one here, obviously it did take City a long time to break Everton down. And it's someone who I have a lot of time for watching youth football and following a lot of the youngsters in the Premier League. O'Reilly came up trumps for City, and another great prospect coming through for them. Talk me through his goal, mate, and then the next one from Kovacic.
Well, I mean, listen, it's good to see City giving the youth players a chance. It's easy for a club like City with the amount of wealth behind them and the amount of money that they can spend on players and that muscle to bring in anyone they want. And it's quite easy to overlook the youth talent. I know there's the homegrown rule, but I've got to say that I've been very, very impressed with the young players that are coming through. And the lad did take his goal very, very well. When you look at Everton, once again, I couldn't agree with you more, Kallum, in terms of the resurgence under David Moyes. That was a perfect...
It's a breath of fresh air. It's a breath of fresh air, ain't it?
Absolutely. And you know what? The West Ham fans now are, once again, be careful what you wish for. They got rid of Moyes, obviously, for Lopetegui, and now it's Graham Potter. And you know what? Neither of them have done anything. They haven't pulled up the trees that David Moyes was pulling up. So once again, they wanted Moyes out. They got their wish. Now they would do anything to get him back. And he's doing it at Everton. David Moyes is a good manager. I'm so pleased it's gone sort of full circle for him. And he's got chance to obviously continue the good work that he did there many, many, many years ago. And once again, when David Moyes got the Man United job back in the day, I thought, if they'd have stuck with him and give him time, that would have been perfect to succeed Fergie. But once again, they got trigger happy. And it's a shame for David Moyes. But I just hope now, under Everton, he's steadied the ship. I'm hoping, because for the last few seasons, it looks like it's been Everton's time to go. It really, really does. But now under David Moyes, I think that, I think he's going to build something there. They're going to the new stadium, so it's all very exciting. With City, you never know which City you're going to get. Yeah, City got a 2-0 win, but they've been so inconsistent this season. They really, really have. But, good win for City, because Everton's not an easy place to go to.
No, exactly, mate. Exactly. And John, if I can come to you on the next one, to round out this game, Kovacic steps up and gets a 90+2 goal for City to kind of drown out any Everton resilience. Can you talk me through this goal, please, mate?
Again, didn't see that game as well, and but I heard of it as well. But Everton just took it out, and City, they're not having the best of seasons, by the way, but they're putting it together now. Do you know what I mean? But Everton were with a point apparently until City scored that 90+2 goal, like you said, and that really absolutely killed Everton off, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And they'd be gutted because they thought they might have done enough, and they've not been in good form. Everton, they've drawn too many games for me. 3 draws, 1 win, 2 losses, but David Moyes did a good job there. But for me, I mean, gutted because for them, because I thought they'd done enough. But Pep and City are on a roll in a minute. Like they're won the last 3 games, 4 games, 2 draws. They've found in championship form, but unfortunately it's a bit too late for them. But they're going to finish 3rd in the league, and yeah, it is what it is. I mean, Pep and City found a way of winning games. That's exactly what they've done.
No, that's fair, mate. I just want to get both of your views on something as well. Obviously, City went out and bought 2 defenders in January, and it seems that one of them has fallen from grace quite dramatically, if reports are to be believed, in Kusanov. Apparently, he's had an argument with Pep. He's been benched for the last 5 games. Potentially, it could be that he's just biding his time with him. So he is a young player, but I think that when you spend 30 to 35 million on a centre back, well, at least from a Spurs point of view, I'd say that you'd expect them to be starting a lot of games. Is it just that City's might allows them to just throw that money out there to allow a player of that quality to sit on the bench? That's all. So, Jace, what's your thoughts on this one, mate?
Yeah, it's a strange one, really. Listen, what if even a club like Wolves now will sign a player for 15, 20 million, and years ago it was like signing a player 15 million. Now to get a player who's going to fit into your team in the Premier League, it's going to cost you 15 million. Any player who's played, 5 to 10 Premier League games is worth by that 10 to 15 million quid. That's transfer market. So for City to once again throw their muscle and spend £35 million on a defender in any other club or most other clubs, he would be needing to start. There would certainly be a lot of questions on why he's not starting. But the fact that it is Man City, players can be signed for 25, 30, 35 million and disappear pretty quickly, and not many questions get asked.
No, exactly, mate. Exactly. And John, what's your thought on this? Because he is a young lad. And like me and Jason discussed previously, we're quite impressed with how well City are doing with their youth players. But this guy isn't a youth player. He is more towards the senior side. He was starting for Lens for the last year and a half alongside Kevin Danso. Do you think there's a fallout between him and Pep, or do you think it's just City having the power to just be able to manage them different money players?
Well, the thing is, though, they want to tell us what we want to hear. That is the thing, do you know what I mean? No one doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes yet. Only Pep knows that. But it's a shame it has to end this way. Do you know what I mean? The last thing we want to do is have a go at Pep or argue with Pep sort of thing, because there's going to be one winner and it ain't going to be the player. Simple as that. But Pep has got that ruthless streak in him. Yeah, where it needs to be. But we was after this player in January, but we couldn't spend it because of the PSR. So Man City decided to go for him. So it looks like that his career could be over at Man City quicker than Usain Bolt within 5 goals. You know what I mean? So it's a shame. The guy's young and he's only 20, 21, wherever he is, but it doesn't look good, doesn't it? It does look weird. But one thing I'm going to see on this as well, but he'll learn from this. He'll definitely learn from it. Or they might farm him out on loan, and that's the thing. So he is a good player. He's a good prospect. He really is. He's quick. And he leads the game, and that's that.
No, exactly. I mean, I have heard rumours that he could be loaned out. So you never know, John. He could be starting left back or centre back next year if you can organise a deal. But that PSR will dictate that for you guys, where you probably have to sell Isaac or Gordon in the summer just to make balance books.
It's funny how Man City don't have to balance the books, isn't it? It's funny how they can just seemingly sign anyone and get away with it.
It's funny how a brown envelope turns up on someone's desk at the PSR commission, or the legal cases always seem to get dragged out or disappear for a couple of months.
Yeah, funny that, isn't it?
Exactly, mate. Exactly right. Let's jump down to a team. that is nowhere near dear to my heart at all, but it is my partner's father-in-law's team. So we'll go to the Olympic Stadium, to that rented stadium with a running track, just to see how they do. It all looked to be going quite well for West Ham in this one, and then it got to the 90th plus 3, and I'm really going to massacre this poor sod's name. Ugachukwu popped up at 90 plus 3 and really ruined West Ham's day. So, I mean, apparently a good goal from Jared Bowen. So, Jace, could I bring you in on this one? Bowen, through all the trials and tribulations that West Ham have, still seems to be their best player going.
Yeah.
So, I mean, another goal for him. What do you think?
Listen, Jared Bowen, I've personally been very, very impressed with Jared Bowen. You know, he's one player, he probably never going to come to balls, but he's one player I'd certainly, you know, I wouldn't balk at if there was a chance and we got rumoured with a player like him. So I think he's been really, really good. He's got himself into the England setup. He's a very useful player. And but once again, we talk about a poison chalice, and this is exactly what West Ham are becoming. And I don't know, you know, at any football club, the culture is set from the top. And if you look at how West Ham has been run, you know, renting grounds and all this in over recent years, no manager, you know, would. It's once again, it's a big job, but there's a lot of managers out there who go there and quickly realise that, you know, it's deep behind the scenes of how rotten that club is. And it's such a shame, really. Lopetegui, who managed after he was at Wolves, I did quite Lopetegui, but then when he got the West Ham job, I thought he ain't going to last long. He isn't, and he didn't. So once again, it's just a bit of churning out. And listen, if you can't beat Southampton at home, you're in a bit of bother. You know, listen, they've had a reasonable season. Once again, they're safe, but are they really performing to their full potential? A bit like Spurs, really. I think that they've underperformed all season. I think they found themselves in the wrong end of the table. I think they've got a squad capable of finishing a lot higher, but once again, I think the culture is set from the top in that football club, and it's not good.
No, exactly, mate. Exactly. It's toxic. And I will come back to you, Jace, after we get John to just cover the Southampton goal, because there was a very damning interview on Sky from Nicholas Fulcrook where he did vent some of his lovely opinions. But John, better late than never from Ugachukwu for Southampton. They do seem to have a habit of getting late goals, Southampton. I mean, it don't really help them. They did get a point. They could still get Derby County's record for the worst Premier League team in history, but he did pop up with a goal when it was required. What did you think of this one, mate?
Well, if you're a West Ham fan, you expected 3 points. I mean, under Graham Potter, his record's not great, isn't it? I'm not going to lie. Last 6 games, 3 points out of the last 6 games. That is not what the West Ham fans want to see, to be fair. But yeah, when Bowen got that goal, yeah, I mean, you expect them to get 3 points, yeah. But Southampton did find a way. But look, you're right. They do find a way of getting late goals, Southampton, but they left it too late. That is the thing. They were relegated. I mean, it was doomed to failure at first start. But West Ham, that was 3 points. Massive 3 points they need to get, and they didn't get it yet. Well, Spurs was in fourth bottom. But I tell you something now, guys, right? Next season, in the Premier League, 40 points is going to be enough. I can't see 30 points is going to be enough to keep you up. Simple as that, because 17th place is West Ham. They got 36 with 5 games to go. So the points are happening in the moment in time. But West Ham, some of these are happening. It's got to be big changes in the playing side, surely. It needs to happen because, and one thing I want to say about Fulkrug, right? That guy is a quality striker. He's done it at Dortmund, playing the Champions League, yeah. Troy Deeney had a right go at him for comments like that. I could understand coming out and saying things like that, but is it come for the right guy? Should Jared Bowen come out and say that? Things like
remember, Troy Deeney thought he was as good as Harry Kane. So, I mean, I think the guy's got a screw loose. I'm not going to lie. But
he's a Talksport centre, though.
Yeah, but Jermaine Genus was on there for BT Sport as well. So, I mean, it's not really saying much, is it? Come on.
Not really. Not really, no. Well, what if they won? That's another thing. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, you're right. But, yeah, at the end of the day, something needs to be said. It has to be said. You've got something to say. Get it off your chest and say something about it. Do you know what I mean? Just say it. And hopefully the players now need to wake up and put up performance for these last 5 games, because if they don't, I think they play for the futures right now. Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly.
Hey, good.
Jason, if I can bring you in on this one, mate. Obviously, John started to cover with Falkirk.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the comments that he did make, I mean, like you've both said, it's turgid from the top to the bottom at West Ham, the same as many other clubs, Spurs, Man United. But the fact that he's called out a lot of the playing staff as well, along with it, say, obviously, we got 1 goal and then we sat there and thought we was sitting pretty. You can't do that as a Premier League club, can you? You can't relax on your laurels, because when it used to be 2 goals up, now we've seen games where people could turn over a 2-goal lead easily.
Absolutely. You know, I've seen Wolves be 3-0 up and been on the wrong end of one. So, yeah, with Falkirk was a strange signing from the start for me. Once again, brilliant at international level, Champions League, Dortmund. He's had a very good career, but the fact that he's 32 years of age, he's never left Germany, and then he's come into the Premier League, I think it's probably the wrong time and the wrong part of his career to be able to do that and come in and make a difference. And I think he's as frustrated as anyone, in as much as he hasn't had much game time this season. He hasn't really had much opportunity to show what he can do, and he's just frustrated. And I don't think he's got anything to lose at the end of the day. In my opinion, he's probably already got something lined up to get back to Germany, because I can't see him stopping at West Ham next season with the limited opportunities that he's had. And once again, it's just pure disharmony. The fact that he's coming out and calling out his teammates says all you need to know, really. You know, it's when he gets to that stage, it's bad.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I can see your point as well now. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I mean, he must be looking, thinking like, you know what? I'll play with world-class players in Dortmund. I'll come to West Ham thinking, yo, hang on a minute. That's my ambition. Do you know what I mean? But I'll tell you one thing, right? I mean, if I was Graham Potter, you need to say, right, you know what? I want to do complete overhaul of this team, because I'm telling you now, I've had to play with these lot again. I'm done, because those players are not good enough. We should not have lost to West Ham at home. That's in James's. Never.
But then West Ham did that all last summer already, didn't they, under Lopetegui? That was the overhaul. They've already coughed up nearly 120 to 140 million.
Exactly.
Are Sullivan and Brady going to do it again? I fucking doubt it.
Well, I tell you what, no, they need to do something about it, because if they take that form in this season's form into next season and they start the way they have to, they're in big trouble, massive trouble.
No, exactly, mate, exactly. And like we've said, that result did leave West Ham in 17th on 36 points. They are categorically safe after Ipswich did lose, but it doesn't make for happy tidings for some of the biggest clubs in the Premier League, and they are sitting down the bottom of the league. So let's jump to the Midlands, and this was a fun one, and I enjoyed this because it brought a couple of different fans back down to a little bit of level, and it did overinflate some of the fans out of Birmingham as well. I will come to John first on this one because I like to see him suffer a little bit on it. It was a lovely game with Newcastle travelling to Villa Park, which ended 4-1 to Aston Villa. John, give me your 10 pence on this one, mate, because I doubt you was happy after it.
And you
Sorry
know
to
what?
interrupt, guys. I'm just going to get to the toilet really quick.
No worries, Jace.
Where do you want me to start on this one? I mean, look, I didn't watch the game, obviously, because I was in Berry for the vlog. And I look back on it, just so I didn't watch the game. But I thought we were very, very poor. I'm not going to lie. I know we looked a bit leggy, apparently, so I've been told. It looked a bit leggy. I thought Villa were a better team from minute 1 to minute 90. Nick Pope saved us for absolute tanking. I'm not going to lie. But end of the day, we just caught for a bad day. I mean, I'm just going by what I'm going through. They've gone for a good day. They deserve to win. No complaints whatsoever. We had the players to, turn up and get some points. Don't forget, we're the form team going into Villa Park, and Villa just absolutely demanded us as well. I mean, Watkins scored after 35 seconds. We never recovered from that, really, didn't we? He could have scored again, hit the post in 5 minutes, yeah? We could have gone 2 down in the first 5. That would have been embarrassing, man. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, we just tried to compete. We couldn't do it. And it's just a bad day out of office, mate. Do you know what I mean? We just got to do now. Just move on to the next game. We got a massive game on Saturday, which we fully expect to get 3 points, but we come down with it later. But it's just a bad day, mate. And what can I say?
No, that's fair, mate. That's fair. I mean, we can say that we will move on to the next game, but I'm going to make us talk a little bit more about this because this was one of the biggest scores of the day. So, Jace, John's just clarified that it was a bad day at the office for Newcastle. Great game for Villa, and it's got Watkins backfiring and a lot of other influence. I mean, they did have 25 shots compared to Newcastle's 8. What does that say when you think Newcastle are the form team and Villa are a little bit topsy-turvy up and down? It's polar opposite, isn't it?
With Villa's form, what it tends to be, and Wolves beat them because obviously it was a better team on the day. But what happens is with Villa, and I've noticed this, and you probably have as well, is that they'll have the European game and they normally pour the game after. And that's been a bit of a pattern all season. And Europe for them has been a bit of a distraction. However, I was listening to TalkSport earlier, and some of the Villa fans are saying that Ollie Watkins isn't good enough. It is absolutely mind-blowing. Now,
Are they Barney? Mate?
This guy was saying, no, he's not good enough. We need someone now who can take us to the next level. Ollie Watkins is one of the most naturally gifted goal scorers that this country has currently got. Now, with Watkins, he's strong, he's direct, good with both feet. He can head the ball, and he's got an eye for goal. He's not afraid to shoot. He could walk into pretty much any Premier League side. And then they're on about the same guy saying, yeah, I'd love to see Rashford come this way and Ollie Watkins go that way. Oh, my word. Ollie Watkins is better than Marcus Rashford, in my opinion. Marcus Rashford, there's too much going on off the pitch. He showed a true colour to what he's, the flaws in his character. And I think Ollie Watkins is a well-rounded player. Yes, he hasn't been playing as much as he wanted to, but when he's had the opportunity, he stuck at it. And, I think he got an assist, he got a goal. Good player, Ollie Watkins. I mean, listen, he could walk into any Premier League team. And for me, I would prefer to see, if it was my team up top, I'd prefer to see Ollie Watkins than Marcus Rashford, 100%.
No, exactly, mate, exactly. And someone else who is doing very well for them as well is Morgan Rogers. That kid seems to have come along, very astute acquisition, I believe, from Middlesbrough, because he was at City originally, and I think it was 15 million. But that front line for Aston Villa have been cooking some nice stuff up. Asensio, Rashford, Watkins, and Rodgers. I think they all complement each other. I think that you can have players like Watkins and Rashford in the same team. I mean, I admit Rashford does get baggage, but he complements what Villa have.
Yeah, listen, I think Rashford's a good player. It's just my opinion is out the two. I'd prefer to see Ollie Watkins. Bearing in mind, they lost Duran earlier in the campaign, and Duran was once again a good goal scorer, but he's had an opportunity financially that he's got to take. And the reason he's got to take it is because if Duran goes off form and, gets 1 in 15, then a move like that to Saudi Arabia is completely gone. So he's got to take that chance. And, he certainly has. And he'll set his family up and generations now for life with that move. Bearing in mind as well, I've seen a statistic, well, it's not so much a stat, but seen some information today all over Twitter that Philip Coutinho still plays for Aston Villa, but everyone's forgot about him, haven't they? Because of, he hasn't been playing. But
they keep loaning him. he's loaned out to like Brazil or something like that,
Oh
isn't it?
yeah, but crazy that he's obviously still still in the team. But listen, for me, Aston Villa are very, very good going forward. They really are. Listen, I'm a Wolves fan. They're our rivals, if you like. They're much at the minute. We've had the rub of the green. Last couple of seasons, I suppose. But over they're looking to be a really good team, and I fancy them. I think Emery has got them obviously not only playing really well. I fancy them to keep kicking on as well. So I do fancy them to keep climbing up the table, and with the form in Europe as well, they've beat some good teams. So listen, I know they're only down the road, but it's always good to see.
No, exactly, mate. Exactly. I think the only thing that might come unstuck for Villa is the amount they are paying on wages is going to make them susceptible to PSR and ethical conduct for it. But it means that for every pound they get in, I believe they're spending about 95 pence on wages, something like that. So they are very close to the cusp, but they are making they're making a concise decision to see if this will push them to Europe to hopefully reap the rewards from it. And if they get Champions League football and then they just go, right, Rashford and Asensio fuck off at the end of the year, and they get Coutinho off their books, they clear a whole lot of that debt out and that balance sheet. So I hope so. I think the only weakness for Villa is probably their defence. I don't like Tyrone Mings. I don't think he's that good, and I'm not a big fan of Ezri Konsa. And Matty Cash don't go down well with Spurs fans, let's put it that way. So, but no, I like Ian Maatsen. I think he's a good homegrown left back. You don't hear that, a Dutch left back who's actually homegrown in the Premier League, which goes down well. Thank you, Chelsea. So, no, I think Villa are going the right way, and I believe that this was just a bad day for Newcastle. Ultimately.
Oh, absolutely. And Newcastle Newcastle, we all know how good they are going forward, but sometimes a couple of goals go in, heads drop, and it's at that stage of the season now where I'm not saying there's not certainly clubs not on the beach, but it's that
they've won the first club. Now. They've won the first cup, haven't they? That's available at the moment.
Well,
they've already won that. They've won the Carabao Cup against Liverpool. Of all the teams, they've won it against probably who's going to be our champions this year for Premier League. So, yeah, I think definitely, like you say, not everyone's on the beach, but people are starting to feel it.
Newcastle and Villa are very attacking sides, and what that does, it always, always frees up some space at the back, and Villa have took advantage of that, and good arm win.
No, exactly, mate. Exactly right. Let's jump into our first kickoff of Sunday. John, welcome back. You're just in time.
Sorry about that.
It's just
been flipping mum as well, sort of thing. So that should be it now. No more.
No, that's all right, mate. We're just jumping into a very close rival. A rival game, actually, split up by a park. We're going to Craven Cottage, and it was Chelsea versus Fulham in the West London derby. Big up Spurs diehards, and big up
Spurs diehard.
Big up to everyone else in the chat, guys. Don't forget to get your questions in for all of us. We are happy to take them as well. And we'd love to know everyone's views when it comes round to the preview for next week on your score predictions. So, John, I'm going to come straight to you. This one ended Fulham 1, Chelsea 2, with Fulham taking an early lead under Iwobi, and then George, who is one of the Chelsea youth players, and Neto getting a 90+ free winner. I kind of feel for Barney here because he is our resident Fulham fan and co-host, and I think this would have really screwed his weekend up. So give me your 10 pence on this, please, mate.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, Fulham are a really decent side at home. They beat Liverpool as well, and the fact of the matter is, they caught Chelsea on a bad day. But I was hoping for them to win that game, so Barney let me down a little bit. So, but even a point would have been happy. But the fact of the matter is, it's just what can you do? Fulham turned on to the game. George got an equalising goal, and then Neto got the winner. But Chelsea's been quite lucky this season. They've not been playing well. I'm not going to lie. Maresca's under a bit of pressure, and they got 3 lucky points. That's all I can say. But if Chelsea are going to get top 4 or top 5, they got to play a lot better than that. Otherwise, they'll not be getting there. We got to play them as well, and I think we'll beat Chelsea as well. On that confident, we'll beat them as well. Got a week's time, but the fact that again, it's just Chelsea kind of found a way. He made early subs, didn't he? Maresca at the start of the second half, that made a difference, and they still need a world-class goalkeeper because Sanchez, I'm sorry, is not the answer. Jorgensen, I'm not sure about him, to be fair. And that's what they need. And they also need a world-class striker. I mean, Nicholas Jackson will come good. I'm sure he will. I like Nicholas Jackson, but they need someone who's going to put the goals in the back of the net on a regular basis. You can't keep missing chances. So, and Cole Palmer, I don't know what's up with him. He's not been on fire, and he's been off form at the minute. So I don't know what's up to him.
Did you see that post that he put out a couple of weeks ago with that picture under Pochettino's time?
Yeah.
I think it was saying like cooking or something like that. I was like, Jesus Christ, are you really trying to get in trouble that much and rub salt in a wound?
Well, I think it's a bit daft to doing that, Cole. We might think it's funny, but it's daft. How can you do that? You know what I mean? That's like you said, it's just stabbing someone in the back. Do you know what I mean? Taking a mickey. Do you know what I mean? But you can't do that. They're not going to find him. The club ain't going to do nothing about it. Do you know what I mean? But just say, carry on, Cole. Go for it. Simple as that. But
yeah, they're more worried about selling their women's team to themselves for a shell company. So I think they're all right on that front.
Exactly. And that's the problem. Do you know what I mean? That is the problem. And you can't keep doing, you can't do that. If we did that, we'll be in big trouble. If you've done that, you'll be in big trouble. Wolves, exactly. If Jace did that, they'd be in big trouble as well. But it's Chelsea. And one thing I like about the Premier League, it's not the best league in the world, I'm not going to lie, but it's like Tottenham and United are struggling at the other end of the Premier League. I think Richard Masters will be absolutely crying over it.
No, I completely agree, mate. Right. Obviously, Barney said, lovely goal by Iwobi and a good assist by Ryan Sessegnon. Don't ever know why Spurs let him go, to be honest, apart from the injuries. Very good player, Ryan Sessegnon. But, Jace, I'm going to come over to you, mate. Both goals coming from the Chelsea side, being George, another youth prospect, so another good weekend for youngsters scoring, and an old favourite of Wolves as well, Pedro Neto.
Well, I was just going to say about Fulham, you know, I do look out for Fulham's results because they've got 2 ex-Wolves players that play for the club, which are big favourites of Wolves fans, which are Raul Jimenez and Adama Traore. So I do always look out for the results. It's great to see Jimenez scoring when he does, and he was a brilliant player in a Wolves shirt. Traore, for me, he's one of them players where he's definitely hit his peak. Every manager that gets hold of him thinks he's going to be, you know, one of the greatest players in the world because he's got all the attributes to do it. He's skillful, he's quick, he's direct, he's strong. But we all know that he does struggle with his end product. So Fulham,
lay off the baby ocean. Lay off the baby lotion and you'll be all right.
Listen, he got through litres of that at Wolves. But Pedro Neto for Chelsea, a bit like at Wolves, bit of a slow starter. But then when he gets into his mojo, Pedro Neto is an unbelievable talent, by the way. The only thing that worries me about Pedro Neto is, once again, when he was in a Wolves shirt, he did suffer from injuries. He does need a run of games, and then he's unplayable. And he can get you a goal out of nothing. And he did. So I believe he got the assist on the first goal. And then he rifled in that one. And you know what? He deserves it. He's a good, honest player. He was brilliant at Wolves. We cashed in on him. And it's good to see him doing well in a Chelsea shirt.
No, that's fair, mate. That's completely fair. So let's just get Barney's last thoughts on this. I did feel we had been more assertive in the first half, could have been a better result in our favour. No, definitely Barney. It was a game of 2 halves, to be honest. Chelsea slow start, but Fulham slow to react to Chelsea growing into it in the second. And yeah, Harry Wilson, very good player as well. I've got a lot of time for him for definite. Right, so before we go on to our next game, I just want to get people's thoughts on this question from Spurs diehards. It is a Spurs-related question, but I just want to get your thoughts on it. So, with or without Europa League success, does Ange walk if he wins the Europa League, or stay to have a crack at the Champions League? Jace, I'll come to you first. What's your thoughts on this one, mate?
I think he's in a bit of an untenable position now. I'd like to see him win the Europa League because I like him, and I thought, he did a great job north of the border, which we all know there's only 2 clubs, and it was a big job to come to Spurs. If he, and we all know he always wins a trophy in his second season, or so he says. So I would like to see him.
He was a fucking bellend for saying that. He was a fucking bellend. Put it on target on us.
Why put yourself under that much? Why put yourself under that much pressure anyway? Because it could massively backfire. Now, if they won the Europa League, I just think his whole body language in interviews is so defeatist. He can't even look at the camera. He's constantly looking down. All you do is get to see the top of his head. And I'm going to say something now, and I don't want to piss you off, Kallum, but I've been to every home game this season at Wolves, and I've been to probably half the aways. Tottenham Hotspur were the poorest side I've seen at Molineux this season. Mm-hmm. And I don't say that lightly. Because I look at that Spurs team, and on paper, it's a very good team. There is just no cohesion. At the back, that game, it was like a hot potato. I don't know your keeper's name who played in that game. I do apologise. But
Vicario.
Now, he looked so low on confidence, it was untrue. Now, in my opinion, if I was a manager and I've got a defence and a goalkeeper that low on confidence, I would not play out from the back. I just think it's a dangerous game and someone invariably gets caught out. And like I said, I went to Brighton a few years back watching Wolves. Brighton won 6-0 with 5 goals down, and we're still playing it out from the back. No, just get it up into the other end. I can't understand why Spurs continue to do that. And we was forcing them into mistakes. We was playing a high press. Mateus Cunha that day grabbed a goal, and we was good for the win, but Spurs were I'm not taking anything off Wolves. Spurs were very, very poor. But sorry, back to that question. I think he's in an untenable situation now with the fans, with the players. And I don't think even if you guys win the Europa League, I don't think 90% of your supporters want him to stop anyway. Who they're going to bring in, I don't know. But I don't think he's the answer long term.
No, that's definitely fair. I mean, the only thing that I'd say, if he does win it, I would say if he did stay, then we continue with the project, because if not, we're recycling another fucking manager, another project all over again. And we've been through God knows how many rebuilds. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah,
John, if I can come to you on this one, I know me and you have spoken about Ange earlier in the season as well, and we did think it was a little bit up and down through the injury crisis, but that was kind of covering it. Now he's got no excuses, has he? So how does that relate to this question, mate?
Look, when he was at Celtic, I mean, I think the guy was absolutely breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? Talks, he's good at the press, says it how it is, and the Scottish press talk to him, and they kind of respect him, etc. But since he went to Tottenham, it's a different kettle of fish. Started so well, right? Won 10 games out of 11, something like that, and it just fell apart after that, really, and got to Europa League, and now. The second season is really tough on him. Do you know what I mean? He's lost, is it 18 games? So 18, 19 games?
18 so far, probably going to be 19 at the weekend.
That's what I'm thinking as well. Well, he's very lucky. The bottom 3 just hasn't really done it. But at the end of the day, but you know what it is, right? I mean, I feel sorry for Ange Postecoglou. I really feel for the guy. Do you know what I mean? I mean, for me, he plays the good football, but he just doesn't change. He's not going to change his philosophy. He's not going to do that. It's always a 4-2-3-1, and he's going to keep doing that way. Do you know what I mean? My worry is Daniel Levy. Is he going to keep him next season? I doubt he will. The reason they haven't sacked him yet, because there's the Europa League, and they're going to see if they can win the Europa League. You got a tough game against Border Glimt. That's coming up soon, yeah? Are you at home first, or you got the away first?
We're at home first, I believe. Let me just have a quick shift. We have to. Yeah, we need to beat them next Thursday. Simple as that.
You need to. to have any chance to qualify, because you don't win this game, right? Then it's going to be very tough. How
their pitch is a freaking 3G pitch in the Arctic Circle. That's going to be fun.
I think it will be.
Well, there's your excuse ready.
Oh, don't. To be honest, we'll have something. Right, let me bring Spooks in. He's finally worked out that BT hasn't cut his internet off and he was just asleep on this one. Spooks, better late than never, mate. We're only an hour in.
Better late than never. I'm sorry, I had a very late. I don't even know what to attribute it to. I was tired at work. I just got to my uncle's place and I just saw the invite. I'm sorry about it, guys. Apologies.
Don't worry, mate.
Is everything fine?
We've still got plenty of games to go through. Pleasure to have you back on, mate. Right.
How are you doing now? How's doing?
No, we're all good. I mean, everyone else is above me in the Premier League, so yeah, loving that. But it's all good other than that. So Barney's given his 10 pence. Ange seems under pressure. Whatever happens, is your league full enough to get him the sack, or will a Europa League win be enough time? We'll tell if you win the Europa League. Surely it might give Ange some more time. I think Jason's point is definitely very valid that his position's pretty untenable at the moment. Spurs fans have turned away from Daniel Levy and there is more boos against Ange Postecoglou. But the shit starts up top and it slides downhill. So Daniel Levy gets targeted and the shit slides onto the manager. Simple as that. And being a Spurs fan, I mean, I was at the Frankfurt game the other day. And when you think that there was 62,000 fans in that stadium, 5,000 Frankfurt fans were the loudest thing in there. That's how untenable it was at the time. It was so negative, and it was a slow start again for Spurs. So I've done enough on Spurs on that one. But no, thank you very much, Spurs diehards, for your questions. If you've got any more, drop them in, and I'll give some to Spooks. So Spooks, I'm going to throw it straight into you, mate. Arsenal travelled to Kenilworth Road. They did get a respectable 4-0 win against Ipswich. So they pretty much relegated Ipswich for definite. Very shameful because at least Ipswich gave it a go out of the bottom three.
It's Putman Road.
Sorry,
Kenilworth, didn't you?
What one's Kenilworth?
Luton.
Oh, fuck that. I hate Luton. I fucking hate the place. So I don't know why I'm thinking that's in my mind. It's because I'm going there. I've got to go there tomorrow, then to Milton Keynes, then to Codovac Gate, then down to Aylesbury, and then into Hemel Hempstead. Fucking bastard drive tomorrow, but we're going to have fun with that one. So, Spooks, we're going to go over to you straight away, mate. Obviously, Arsenal winning respectively 4-0. Not that I want to say that about them. Talk me through this one, please, mate.
It was a good game. I think it was how do you call it? It was a desperate game for Ipswich. So they came in all guns blazing, and Arsenal had the opportunity to just hit them on the counter, control the game. When you have something to lose, you want to give it your all. I think Ipswich wanted to so much hold on to the hope of staying in the Premier League. But then I think Arsenal just overshadowed them, outclassed them, outplayed them. Even resting a lot of players, they still beat them by 4 goals. And it was a great match. I mean, I didn't love it because Arsenal won, but then, they had a very convincing win.
No, we have to appreciate it as football fans, just not for local rivalries either with that. And Jace, if I can come over to you, mate, another youngster stepping up and doing bits. Ethan Nwaneri got another goal to add to his tally for this year. What do you think?
He looks a very good player, by the way. With this season, I did have a good feeling Wolves were going to stop up. Not only after we took the new manager on, which I'm sure we'll talk about when we talk about Wolves Man United, but the fact there were 3 worse teams than us in the 3 that have now gone down. And Ipswich, they were the worry for us. When we've been sort of 17th most of the season. Ipswich were the worry because I did think they had a bit of fight. And and obviously we slipped up against them under Gary O'Neill. So I did think that could be one team. But listen, over the course of the season, they've been pretty poor. So I didn't expect anything other than Arsenal to go there and give them a trouncing, to be honest.
No, that's fair. And John, if I can come to you, this game was a very good game for Leandro Trossard. He got 2 goals. Gabriel Martinelli got 1, and Nuaneri got the other, with pretty much nothing to say for Ipswich apart from red card. Talk me through your overall thoughts on this one, mate.
Yeah, I mean, look, Arsenal did a job. They were too strong for them on the day. I'm not going to lie. I fully expect Arsenal to win that game. And the main talking point was Leif Davis. He's from Gateshead as well, by the way. He's from Newcastle, the North East, of course. And that tackle on Saka from behind starts off him, and I think that was shocking. He could be out for months for that. That was an awful challenge. And I think when Leif went off the pitch, he knew what he did was wrong. That was definitely a red card all day long. And I tell you one thing, right? Whether it's frustration, whether Saka got the better of him, I don't know. But to do that kind of tackle him. So, and the thing is, though, he's a local lad. He's going to be missing that game against Newcastle next week with Fee getting banned. And you can't do that. I'm sorry, but that was the worst tackle challenge I have seen. Studs up as well. I tell you, they need to protect Saka as well. They have to protect him because at the end of the day, he's a really good player. He's their star boy, and he's the best. He's the best player. He's the best player. But I couldn't be mild. Do you know what I mean? People saying Gabriel and Saka. Do you know what I mean? But for me, Saka's the best player for me. But for me, when they went off, Ipswich had a mountain to climb. It was always going to be an uphill struggle for Ipswich all the way, and they'll be relegated. They will be relegated if they lose, but they are done anyway. But Arsenal, Trossard played well. Saka had a couple of chances, could have scored, and Martinelli had a good game as well. And it was just plain sailing for Arsenal. It's like a training session at times, you know what I mean? But Ipswich did try, but it just wasn't enough. But 4-0 was about right in the end.
Even when Arsenal were scoring, the players weren't even, it looked like you said, John, looked like a bit of a training game. They scored, and it was a couple of high fives, and that was it. No one was going over the top of the celebrations because it was so expected.
Yeah, the title's done. The title's definitely done. That's why they're not going to go over celebrating because they know they're not going to win the title. You know what I mean? But one thing I'm going to say about Arsenal, right? They're a striker away from winning the title, and it's not going to be Isak. No way.
I was just going to say that. That's an Alexander Isak short of where they want to be.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
You got Yorkers or Cisco? They can't afford 150 mil.
No, exactly, mate. Exactly. But no, this is one that I actually have to thank Arsenal for as well. That by them relegating Ipswich, it meant that Spurs were categorically safe from relegation from the Premier League. How fucking embarrassing is that? I've got to celebrate that.
That's embarrassing. And you got one of the most expensive season tickets as well in the world, right? Yep. Charging overinflated price this year. And that's another thing quickly, right? And we'll discuss that very quickly, right? But I think the Premier League, and I'm sorry if Harry's watching, I'm sorry, but I think the Premier League has lost its magic. And I'm going to say that it has lost its magic because it's ticket pricing and all the empty seats as well. People's blaming, YouTubers as well. How can you blame YouTubers? What have they done wrong? You know what they need to do? The club. They should blame the club for charging stupid prices in the first place. Don't blame the YouTubers.
Yeah. Mate, exactly. Based on when me and Harry went to the Spurs Frankfurt game a couple of weeks ago, and we was very fortunate to get tickets for that, and we got it through a raffle. But it should have been the tickets were about 90 quid each. That was for a Category B Europa League game.
90. How can you justify that? This is why, right? These people now is just giving up their season tickets. You just cannot afford it. You know what they're trying to do? Sell the season tickets. Right? Give up the season tickets. They're not going to resell them. What they'll do, they sell it on match basis because they know they can sell them to tourists, day trippers. Do you know what I mean? That's all it is.
Yeah, Spurs have one of the worst fan bases. They have obviously all of the Asian market that go there because they support Son. They don't support Spurs. They support Son.
We've got it with Hwang Hee-chan, exactly the same. You go out of Molineux after a match that I'm not saying there's 200 Korean supporters. They don't care about Wolves in the slightest, but they spend a lot of money in the club shop. So
commercially, it's fucking bent. Yeah, exactly.
It benefits Wolves by them being there, but equally, if Hwang Hee-chan goes at the end of the season, they're going with him.
Yeah, they'll probably ask for a refund of all the shit that they bought from Molineux shop.
100%. They don't care. They don't care about fans like us now. They don't give a monks about fans like us now. Do you know what I mean? They're basically telling the proper fans and the young fans to where to go. That's why I'll go to non-league games when we vlogs, because it opens your eyes. Yeah, there's a guy called Lee around the grounds. Do subscribe to his channel, by the way, if he's watching. Yeah, subscribe him. Yeah, he's brilliant. Right. One thing I'm going to say, he is so damn right, because there's the atmosphere in the Premier League. It's not real passion. It's not real atmosphere. All it is, right? You're just a number. You're just a number as a fan. Am I wrong or right?
No, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
I know Wolves supporters, fellow Wolves supporters, who physically can't afford to go to games. And you know what? It's a really sad indicament of where we are. And they put the prices up exponentially in Molineux this season. And then they said they're going to freeze them for next season. But if we got relegated, why should we pay over the odds for Championship football? But though they've agreed to kick, it's just, listen, but this is the price of Premier League football now. This is the price of, it was always going to catch up. If you're paying players £200,000 to £300,000 a week,
they've got to find it somewhere.
At some point has got to come from somewhere. So sadly, it's the small man that has to make it up.
No, exactly, mate. Exactly.
It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? This is why people just give up season tickets. Say, I can't afford this. There's a tweet out there. If I know you got to get on with it, yeah, but it's a tweet out there, right? I'll be quick on it, right? But from Louise Smith, big Man City fan, right? And I mean, her dad held a season ticket for 60 years, right? For 60 long years, right? And guess what, right? He's in hospital in a minute, right? And the reason he's in hospital is because that he had a serious accident last year, bleed on the brain. So he hasn't been to a match this season because of that. And what are they going to do? They're going to take a season ticket away from him. How bloody disgusting. Yeah? They're treating the real fans with contempt. Like I said to you a minute ago, you are not a true fan. They don't give a shite. You're just a number. That's all you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly, mate. Well, mate, I live 40 minutes from Spurs and I work 45 to 50-hour weeks. I do all the podcasting and I am lucky if I can get a ticket and all that once a month. It's not worth it to me to travel down there because a round trip to a game of football now is 150 quid minimum for me, including travel, food, ticket, all of that stuff.
It's
and you
ridiculous.
Know what? It doesn't make anybody a bigger fan if they follow their club home and away all across Europe. No. It really doesn't. But you've got to feel for some of these supporters, like that Man United fan who's been a supporter all his life, had a season ticket all his life, and now they can. The club feel that they can take it away from him. It's quite frankly. Absolutely disgusting.
It's disgusting, to be honest.
Absolutely furious at that. I'm sorry, but that can't happen again. That can't really happen. I'm sorry, but it just goes to show that. And they're blaming YouTubers. How about blaming the football club? We put the prices up. YouTubers don't organise these tickets. YouTubers don't put the prices up. YouTubers.
But what does this do to prevent them from what is their reason for
nothing? But it's an excuse. The club is clearly using this excuse because it has nothing to do with YouTubers. If you want to watch a Premier League match on your phone, we all know it can be done, right?
But
it can be done.
It doesn't have to be.
It's accessible.
Only platform.
Yeah,
it's accessible.
Yeah.
So
successful
all
too,
these,
right,
so all these people trying to having a go at me, blaming YouTubers. Yeah, take a rain check for you. Think what you back with a tweet. Otherwise, I'll just cook you. I'm going to cook you
listen,
back.
it's the club that are creating these problems with the ridiculous.
I'm not YouTuber. So think about what you got to say.
Yeah, and why?
Spooks,
why
even you can watch a game on your phone, mate, if you get your internet sorted. It'd be great, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I'm currently watching the Arsenal game on DSTV. Like, I can watch it anytime I like. I mean,
Exactly.
but it's just terrible that people who go to the stadium don't get treated like premium fans who are like, actually contributing money for season tickets and stuff. You see them like trash. That's terrible.
They don't care who sit in them seats in them stadiums. They do not care. It's all about the coin for every club.
Exactly. They want tourists. I'm not going to blame the tourists. I'm not going to blame the tourists as much. I'm not going to blame them at all. But they're targeting the tourist, and the tourist takes advantage of it. So I'm not going to blame them. I'm not going to blame tourists.
They know us legacy fans. They know we get into the ground late. They know we sometimes leave early. They know we're not going to spend £100 in the club shop. They know that. They know we're not going to spend on merchandise and food inside the ground. But they know the tourist fans will go there, and their net spend is greater than ours.
I'll just add one more thing, and it's a question for any of you just to see who it is, and this is obviously targeted towards the top of a club as well. Do you guys know who is the highest paid chairman in the Premier League at all?
I'll give you the answer to that question straight away, shall I?
Go for
Daniel Levy.
Yep. Tight as a duck's arse, that geezer is, and he has given himself pay rise after pay rise after pay rise, and no matter what position we are in the Premier League or in Europe next year, he is still giving himself a pay rise. He's brought in God knows how many other directors and executives into the club, and also they have raked up the price, not on the direct season ticket, but they've made it impact people where they've changed all the category pricing for the European games. They've also changed the concession pricing. They've changed the vulnerable adults and old age pensioner pricing as well. And what they've done is that they've said that you can only sell your tickets through these certain methods, and you'll only get day value on them. You won't get the true value of what your season ticket will be. It will only be reflected on the day of a category, how the game is categorized, not how the actual price would be based on a true value of a football ticket. So there are people like Harry and his dad and a lot of other people who are good friends of mine who are paying way over the odds of £1,500 to £2,300 a year for a Spurs season ticket, and that's all because of the club thinking about the commercial side and not the footballing side for us, which is a joke. Yeah. And when I look at Spurs diehards saying that Bodo Glimt versus Spurs UEFA Europa League game, Aspirama Stadium, Thursday, 8th of May kickoff. So this is the return leg game at 9 p.m. local. Allocation 404 fans, pricing £21.50. There is, yeah.
They're giving 400 fans. So they're giving you 400 fans.
Their stadium's pretty small, to be fair. It's not like massive. It is a Norwegian club, but the fact is £400 or 400 fans, but the tickets are at £20 each and all that.
£21.50 for a ticket, and that is brilliant. That's brilliant.
Even
Why can't Spurs charge you £20 for it?
Even in Germany, the ticket pricing's brilliant. Yeah. Oh yeah, so Bodo Glimt stadium,
and they've always got full stadiums, and they still attract some of the best players in the world in Germany as well.
Exactly. So Bodo's stadium capacity is 8,270. So it is even smaller than Bournemouth, which is the smallest Premier League stadium with 11,000. So it is a very small one. But I've heard that the Bodo fans are cracking. They are absolutely on form as fans. So I'm very much looking forward to them coming over next week. They'll probably have a bigger allocation in the Spurs stadium than their actual home stadium and all that.
There's quite a lot of Norwegians. There's still quite a lot of Norwegians in London anyway, so that's good.
Yeah, the only problem is it is an AstroTurf pitch, so that's going to be quite fun because we did see how that went for Spurs at Tamworth earlier in the freaking season. That was fun seeing Daniel Levy sat on a plastic chair that literally looked like one of them pop-up Z things that you have at like a picnic and all that. You saw him, Donna Cullen and Rebecca Capelhorn, the Spurs executives, sitting under this little shanty shelter that was literally made up like it had been nicked off the back of a fridge magnet. It was ridiculous, but no. Right, I think we've done enough about, well, we could do a whole show on all the commercial side and all the unfairness in football, but we are talking Premier League action. So let's jump to somewhere where Jace was definitely over the moon with this one. Wolves travelled up from the Midlands to Old Trafford, a place where it was the Field of Dreams many years ago. Now it's falling down and got a leak in the roof, and there have been rats found under the seats in different social media images. But it was a respectable win for Wolves. They did have to take their time to get it, but Pablo Sarabia popping up in the 77th minute to make it Wolves 1, Man United 0. Can you give me your thoughts on this one, Jace?
Listen, incredible result. Bearing in mind, we've won 4 on the bounce, and Wolves fans are as surprised as anyone. But equally, we was definitely, make no mistake, going down under Gary O'Neill. The change needed to happen. Obviously, Pereira come in, and the results speak for themselves. To go to Man United is always a tough place to go. Over recent years, we've had our fair share of success there. But even after winning 4 on the bounce, you do expect you don't expect to win them all. But we went there. We stuck to our game plan. We knew how important it was as well, just to ensure safety. Man United, by any means, didn't roll over and get the bellies tickled. But look, we all know this isn't the Man United of old. It really isn't. And I want to come on to a point about Matheus Cunha, who looks to be Man United bound. But back to the game, it wasn't a great game to watch by any means. There wasn't too many chances really for both sides. It was a bit of a scrappy game. Right before kick-off as well, Jose Sarr went down with an injury in the warm-up, and Dan Bentley come in and kept a clean sheet. Unbelievable.
Big credit to him.
Absolutely. And Pablo Sarabia, we signed Pablo Sarabia from PSG. He's no mug. To play for PSG, you've got to be a good player. He gets... he's a bit of a scapegoat amongst the Wolves fans. He's not strong enough. He's not quick enough. The problem is with Pablo Sarabia, he's better in a better team. He could easily fit into one of the top 6 teams. The way he glides around the pitch, the way, his touch. Really, really good, composed player. Is he really a player for a relegation dogfight? Probably not. But against Man United, when you need someone as cool as a cucumber, as calm as you like, free kick, top bins, 82nd minute, I believe, brilliant, that wins the game for us. 5 on the bounce now. We've got Leicester on the weekend. We could even make it 6 wins on the bounce. So Pereira has done an unbelievable job. With Cunha, it looks like he possibly Man United have seen the favourite signing. What the disappointment there is yes, Man United are a huge, huge, huge club. But in my opinions, in footballing terms right now, with the momentum that Wolves are on and the trajectory they're going on, and looking at Man United, that would be, in football terms, a sideward step.
No, that's definitely fair, mate. John, do you echo what Jace is saying, that it would be a sideways step for Matheus Cunha? Or do you think that based on the size of the club will always outdo what we think is logical on paper?
Well, I mean, Matheus Cunha wants to play Champions League, not get that with United, would he? But,
No.
But this is the worst.
Won't get it with fucking Wolves.
I know.
That's true.
He might as well not go to either of them. He might as well just rip up his Wolves contract. Don't go to United. And I mean, Arsenal were looking at him 6 months ago. What's happened?
Yeah, and Forest as well. Forest wanted them as well,
Yeah.
but he chose to go to chose to United. But if the reports are true, according to Alex Crook from Talk Sport, basically, I mean, for me, I mean, if he's going to go there, it's going to be a big project. It has to be a big project. But I just hope Ruben Amorim knows what he's got there as a player. A guy, he's talented, but his attitude is so wrong. That's the thing. His attitude is so wrong at the football club. And that is the problem. And I heard Wolves players don't particularly like him either because his attitude, thinking he's Mr. Big and Mr. Know-all. Do you know what I mean? You can't have that in a dressing room.
Reminds me of Rashford. Reminds me of Rashford. So literally, United have gotten rid of Rashford. If they get Cunha, surely that's just directly replacing him, arsehole for arsehole, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
But just for 72, is it 72 million that he's
the release clause is £62.5 million. Bearing in mind, this is a player we signed for 42, I believe it was. And listen, when he first came, he didn't pull up trees. He's a very, very good player. He's an unbelievable player. He's had a great season in a nigh on relegated team. Listen, he can get the ball in his own box. He can dribble past players. He's got an eye for goal. He can get you a goal out of absolutely nothing. But with that, and Johnny's absolutely spot on, his attitude on social media, he's rattled and wound up Wolves fans. He's expressed his discontent with the fact that, he does want to move. And you think we shouldn't be hearing this noise at this stage of the season where we are. And you know what? Wolves have given him a fantastic platform. He owes the club and the fans a lot more than the way that he's treating them at the minute.
No, definitely, mate. I'll just go one-word answers from. Well, I'm just got a question in my mind, and I'll go to you, Jace, first, and then I'll bring it to John. If Wolves didn't have Cunha this season, would you have been guaranteed relegation?
No. And the reason I say that is because, so this is the thing. Since Cunha has been, I know I probably should have gone with the one-word answer, I apologise, but since Cunha has been out the team with suspension, we actually haven't missed him. But he did get us a lot of points at the beginning of the season. So it's a bit difficult, really. On the balance of things, if we hadn't have had Matheus Cunha this season, it would have been one hell of a battle, especially when we got an injury to Jorg Strand-Larsen, who's been unbelievable, by the way. But I think we'd have been toast.
Yeah, Strand-Larsen killed Spurs off. I know that bastard ripped us apart.
He's a player. He's a real good player.
Oh no, I like him. So John, I'll come to you as well. I will get the one-word answer from you, mate. Without if Wolves hadn't have had Matheus Cunha, would they have been relegated?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Biggest player would have kept him up anyway. Would have found a way.
No, that's fair. Right. Spooks, where you been? We thought that you'd gone on an outback trip, mate, and got lost.
I left work, so I just forgot that I didn't charge my phone. So I just went off. I'm now charging with my laptop. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I just lost power, man. Sorry.
Well, it's all right, mate. I'm going to give you the next game then. So, Liverpool travelled to the King Power Stadium and
Coronation Day.
Yeah, I would say that it'd be a respectable win for Liverpool, but it was only a 1-0. Give me your thoughts on this one, please, mate.
I watched that live, and I was very surprised at the approach of Liverpool because it looked like they weren't trying to throw everything at Leicester. From the beginning of the match, it looked like Leicester was controlling the game. And I don't know whether it was because they wanted to fight for their pride. They were actually the better team for the opening stages of the game. And then Liverpool took control of the game. They had a couple of chances. And then, I think the constant pressure against the Leicester block just finally gave way. Trent on his, I think in the first 5 minutes of his introduction, he scored that goal. And, they just won it by a slim lead. I think because there's not so much at stake, they've taken their foot off the gas a bit. I expected them to win this by about 4 or 5 goals. But unfortunately, it was just one. And to see a rival win, I was disappointed, but then they played well.
No, that's fair, mate. That's fair. Right, as we have only got a few more games left, we've got 3 more to cover for this week. So,
have you already done mine?
yeah, I'm afraid so, Spook. Sorry,
oh my
mate.
God, I should have been here to gloat.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry on that one. You will get another chance later on another show. But we have got 3 remaining games, so I will do a quick overview on the Tottenham Forest game. John, I will come to you on the City Villa game, and Jace, I will come to you for the Arsenal Palace game as well, and then we'll go around and just do score predictions for next weekend's games. Is that all okay with everyone?
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool.
Lovely, right. So Nottingham Forest travelled down to the Spurs Stadium for us, pretty much a dead rubber game. We've got nothing to play for, even though I think we should try and get our league form much better. And Forest obviously chasing top 4 as well. So Spurs did nothing to help themselves within the first 15 minutes with Anderson popping up, an old favourite of John's, down at Forest, unfortunately leaving them. Leaving Newcastle to go to Forest, and he scored a respectable goal. And then Chris Wood popping up in the 16th minute. Theoretically, Forest should have been about 3-0 up within 16 minutes to start that game off, and that's how diabolical and embarrassing it was for Spurs to do that. We made 2 subs at half time, with 2 defenders going off and 2 coming on. And realistically, based on the stats, we had 25 shots. Forest had 4, and we was atrocious.
Dreadful.
And we rested a few players, but not a lot. And to be honest, it was a diabolical joke. And all it did, it made a toxic atmosphere and created a lot of crap for Spurs fans travelling on a bank holiday Monday night, especially for the Forest fans as well coming down. So I am sorry to all the Spurs fans that had to do it, and I'm sorry for the Forest fans that we created a load of traffic on the way home for you, but you did get 3 points respectively from that. But no, not a good game for Spurs. Richarlison getting the goal for them, but nothing really. Toothless performance, and us overcomplicating a game where realistically we should have just taken our chances in that. So last night, Villa's bubble burst when they travelled to Man City. John, can you give me your thoughts on this one, please, mate?
Is that the game for
City Villa last night, 2-1.
Sorry, Val's way. Yeah, City Villa. I mean, look, I knew City were final away, and they, you know what, they had a couple of chances before that. Villa had a chance as well, by the way. They could have gone 2-1 up, but it was a tough game for both sides. You know what I mean? Villa came on a bit of form. City are back together. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, at the end of the day, it just takes 1 goal to win the game, and Nunes. What's his name? Is it Nunes?
Yeah, it was
Nunes. That's the one. Nunes. That's the one. I was going to say that's his Nunes. And played a right back, converted right back, and he's done the job. I mean, Pep was so happy. Excuse me, happy. The one thing I'm going to say is, right, there's people say on Sky Sports there's absolute scenes. What scenes? I'm still looking for scenes, yeah? Because it's just, for me, it's just a normal celebration. Do you know what I mean? Ran to the corner. That was it. There was no ripping the shirts, fans going on the pitch, Pep running down to join the fun as well. Do you know what I mean? I didn't say any scenes, but you know what?
No, exactly.
They found a way. They found a way. They got the 3 points, and they're going to finish third this season. But Aston Villa, I'm glad as a Newcastle fan they didn't win. Why? Because they could have gone above us, and that was it.
No, that's fair, mate. And Jace, I'm going to come to you. So the game of tonight is Real Madrid versus Getafe, because I don't want to talk about Arsenal. No, it is the Arsenal Crystal Palace game, which is live at the moment. I don't know whether you've got it on at all, mate. Have you?
I've just had a look. Yeah, Arsenal winning 2-1 once again. I can't really see. I couldn't really see much past Arsenal winning.
Yeah, Arsenal is winning 2-1 currently.
Yeah, I think Palace have been haven't been great this season, have they really? But once again, that's another club which keep churning out manager after manager after manager, and they wonder why they can't get consistency when they have to keep changing their backroom team, and then a new philosophy comes in, and then fans lose their patience, and then the chairman loses the patience, and then and you've just got this constant boom and bust cycle. And if you look at the most successful clubs in British football, there is a longevity with the managers, and there's a longevity which they stick to. But there's just no patience in football now. So, yeah, back to the game now. Yeah, Arsenal good for that tonight. I know Arsenal scored early, Palace equalised, but it's Trossard again. So I can probably see another couple of goals coming tonight for Arsenal.
No, that really appreciate that, mates. That's brilliant. So, obviously, thank you very much to everyone for the Game Week 33 review. So, we will jump straight into, I would say Friday night, but that's Stoke City versus Sheffield United. So, I'm not that interested in that. I'm not going to freaking lie. We are not the Championship podcast. We are the Premier League podcast on that one. And I think all of us can safely say we are safe this year. Just about, even
Just
with Wolves.
about.
But no. So we go straight to our 12:30 kickoff, which is Chelsea Everton. Spooks, are you still with us? Nope, he's gone. Oh, straight onto his game. His fucking phone's gone. It's either that or his internet's crashed. So I will give him a chance. We'll jump to the 3 o'clock kickoff and we'll go to the 12:30 because he did get some miss to cover his own team earlier. So if he does come back, I'll let him have a small segment just in terms of that. But if us three do predictions for these ones, so West Ham do travel down to the Amex at 3 o'clock. So Jace, what's your score prediction for this one, mate?
I'm going to go Brighton 2. I think they'll bounce back after the Brentford game. Brighton 2, West Ham 0.
Wonderful stuff. John, what are you thinking of this one, mate?
I'm going to go a 2-2 draw.
Ooh. No,
because both teams just don't know how to win games at the minute.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, there is Evan Ferguson, who is on loan at West Ham, but I mean, he hasn't really ripped up any trees since he's gone there. Another I liked him as a player, but a very overrated prospect by the look of it, another one with an attitude problem, apparently, what I've heard. So I'm thinking a 1-1 draw here, to be fair. I think Brighton are going to suffer with João Pedro being out because he has been a class player for them this year. Right. John, Ipswich travel up to Newcastle, mate. What are you going for?
I'll
let you have a little segment on this.
Yeah.
What we'll do, I'll let each person have a little segment on it when it's your own team and all that. If it's just neutral games, we'll just do score predictions. But John, what's your thoughts on this game, mate?
I think we need to bounce back from both our disappointment last week and against the Ipswich side, it was destined for relegation. I fully expect us to win this game, but they got a good keeper in Palmer. I mean, he has improved. I'm not going to lie, but we're going to have to be patient. And I'm going to say, and easy. It's going to be tough, though. I'm going to say Newcastle 3, Ipswich 0. But it could get very messy for Ipswich if we get on the roll. But also, we must go for goal difference as well.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. I mean, your goal difference at the moment is 18. So you are a point behind Forest and you're on the same goal difference as Chelsea, but Chelsea are 2 points behind you. So that'll be interesting to see how that one goes. Jace, what's your score prediction for this one, please, mate?
I think Newcastle 3-1.
I'm going to echo yours. I think Liam Delap will probably get a goal here. Even though I think Newcastle have been very tight at the back, I still think there are defensive frailties there. And there's young fullbacks at play. So I do think Liam Delap could have a bit of fun here for that one. Ooh, this is going to be a nice game. Fulham travelling to St Mary's. for Fulham Southampton. What could go wrong here? Multitude of things. Let's put it that way. So, Jace, what's your thoughts on this one in terms of score, mate?
Southampton 0, Fulham 1. I just think Southampton have been dreadful all season. And although relegated teams normally get this air of confidence and play without the monkey on the back, and all of a sudden they play this free-flowing football, I just think Southampton are way off it. So, yeah, 1-0 win away for Fulham.
Okie dokie. And John Barney's weighed in saying we've got to be looking at a win if we're serious about Europe. 2-1 to Fulham because we don't do clean sheets. Do you think that's fair?
I'll go one still 2 steps further. I'll go to say 3-0 to Fulham.
Okay.
I'll go to smash it.
You don't think Southampton have got a late goal in them just to ruin the day a little bit?
Nah, they won't. I think Fulham will be too strong for them. I mean, Marcus Silva knows what to expect. They need to win that game to have any European aspirations, and it'll be an easy win for them.
No, that's fair. As Spooks hasn't returned, we will go to the 12:30 kickoff, which was Chelsea-Everton. Everton travelling down to Stamford Bridge. I think this has got the makings of a good game, to be honest, especially as a 12:30 kickoff. So, Jace, what's your score prediction on this one, mate?
After watching Chelsea the other day, I'm not saying they're in a rich vein of form, but if Pedro Neto can continue the way he's playing and have another good game, so I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Chelsea. It'll be a close game, but 1-0 win to Chelsea.
John, do you echo that, or are you going for an Everton win or a goal-scoring draw?
I think it's going to be a draw this game. I think Everton do find a way at Stamford Bridge of getting draws and that, and they got one job: get a draw or get a win. I'll go on Chelsea 1, Everton 1.
Lovely stuff. I'm going to say, I'm going to push it out there. I'm going to go 2-1 to Chelsea. I hate to support Chelsea, but I think they may just have a little bit more about them in terms of the quality of players, because they have bought half of Europe to make up their bench line as well. Right, we're going to jump to our final kickoff of the Saturday. Jace, I'll come straight to you. Leicester have already been relegated, but they do travel to Molineux. Wolves do still have points to play for to get up the table, the same as many of the other teams around there, but that's about it. Give us a straight lowdown on this one, mate, because, I mean, Leicester are a joke. They are abysmal, and Rude has done nothing to inspire any confidence in that.
Leicester in absolute disarray, and by the sounds of it, on and off the pitch, and the players are all coming out and having a whinge. We haven't been good enough, but they're all saying we haven't been good enough on and off the pitch. So there's clearly a few problems off the pitch. With regards to Van Nistelrooy, I think they were going down anyway. So sacking him, what's the answer? They need now someone who's going to get them up for the championship. So that's what they've got to focus on now. And I think their eyes are going to be, they've got one eye on next season already, in my opinion. Wolves, like I said, we've won 5 on the bounce. To win 6 on the bounce would be fantastic. As you've probably seen all over media, every time Wolves win, their manager goes into town and has a few beers with the fans, which is just incredible. And this is unprecedented, by the way. This does not happen in Premier League football. It's, managers, players, they're all guarded. It's sometimes us and them. He goes into the town and he drinks in Wetherspoons with the fans. It's just incredible. So I can't see anything but a Wolves win to make it 6 on the bounce. Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Leicester City 0.
Wonderful stuff. Good to know that the prime and only location in Wolverhampton's is the local Wetherspoons. Anything else classy is everywhere else apart from Wolverhampton. Thank you, Jace, for your lowdown on the whole local area as well. John, obviously Jace has gone and bigged up Wolves to get a win here. Are you going to echo that, or do you think Leicester could bring Wolves down a peg?
I'm going to go for Wolves win because they're on fire at the minute. Like, they're definitely safe for this season, 100%. And it could get messy for Leicester. So I'm going to say Wolves 3, Leicester 1.
Lovely stuff. And Jason will be down the Wetherspoons if anyone does want to go and see him on Saturday night. He doesn't have a job. He just works in Wetherspoons. It's wonderful.
Do you know what? It's brilliant. He just goes out and he just drinks with the fans, and so all the supporters are on social media having selfies with him, and it's everywhere. And
It's
now
what you
we've got a
want, isn't it?
slogan. We've got a slogan now: first the points, then the pints. And there's a big flag at Molineux now saying the same thing. Listen, under Gary O'Neill, we were going down. The football was awful. It was just. I think Gary O'Neill. I don't think he's a bad manager. I think he was overcomplicating things. And this Priory's just come in and just got us back to basics. He's got us playing football. He's got the players playing to their full potential, and now we're reaping the rewards.
No, exactly, mate. Exactly. Right, let's jump straight into Sunday, and we've got a 2:00 kickoff. Bournemouth have Man United travelling down to the Vitality Stadium. I think this is going to be a tight one for Bournemouth. Man United are going to be looking towards the Europa League, and Amarin's already said that he will be playing a lot more younger squads or fringe players in that. Jace, what's your score prediction for this one, mate?
United, like I said, they're certainly not the United of old. They've had a very, very, very poor season, and I don't think it's going to get any better. I think they have got one eye on Europe, so I'm going to go for a Bournemouth win, 1-0.
Lovely stuff. And John, what's your score prediction for this one, please, mate?
I'm going to say it's going to get worse, but I'm going to say 2-1 to Bournemouth.
2-1 to Bournemouth. Wonderful stuff. And to our final game of Sunday. In the old days, this would have been one of the biggest games. Based on how the season has been, big game for Liverpool because they can win the Premier League statistically based on points here if Arsenal lose. For Spurs, a dead rubber, to be honest. I used to love watching this game. I thought it had everything about it. Realistically, we've just got to be looking for the Europa League now because we're that dejected. So, John, I'm going to come straight to you. Liverpool versus Tottenham. What's your score prediction for this one, mate?
Sorry to tell you this bit to break you, mate, but I'm going to have to say Liverpool 3, Spurs 0. I'm sorry, mate.
That's
and
all right.
Goes Liverpool, but I just don't know how I can't make a case for you guys.
Yeah. We got nothing to play for. That's the thing.
For. It could get worse for you. You could be like fourth bottom.
Oh, I think we could be by the end of it. Jace, are you echoing what John's saying, mate?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 2-3-0. Liverpool have got a job to do. And to be honest, this game isn't important to Spurs in the slightest. Let's be honest. It doesn't matter. It makes no odds. They can't go down, and they've got to focus on Europe. And I think that Liverpool are just going to go, going to do a job.
It'd be our luck that they only beat Leicester 1-0 and then we lose like 4-1 to them. It'd be so Spursy for it. I mean, I think from the manager's pride, he will name a very strong lineup.
Yeah.
But that's because of his stubbornness for it. Whereas a lot of fans will go, no, we should be resting players, thinking of Thursday and all that. And it's such a difficult one because I'm of the mindset, my dad's old football, he's old school. You name your strongest 11, every possible possibility that you have.
Yeah.
And that's the way that I've been brought up. But with that in mind, Spurs haven't won a European trophy in 41 years.
Yeah.
I've got one eye on Thursday. Yeah.
Just focus on Europe. Just forget this game.
No, exactly. And then other than that, I don't think we've got any other games. We have only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why have we only got 8 games this weekend? We're missing one. Oh, well, by the look of it, it's it's FA Cup. Man City versus Forest in the FA Cup semi-finals. So that's why we don't have a certain number of teams playing. And I believe, is there another one of them or is it just that one? Oh, yeah, Palace and Villa play Saturday as well. So do you fancy doing FA Cup predictions?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Right, let's go. Palace Villa at 5:15 on Saturday. Jace, what's your score prediction out of that one, mate?
Palace Villa, I think, Villa have been good in cup competitions this season, particularly in Europe and obviously domestically. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Villa.
Lovely stuff. And John, who are you going for in this one, mate?
I think that Palace is good to see them there. You know what I mean? They will make it hard for Villa, but I'll go with 2-0 as well for Villa.
2-0 for that. So that will place Villa safely in the final. And who will be their opponents for this one? John, I'll stick with you. City travel to Forest. So who are you going for?
It's going to be a tough call. Forest having a wonderful season. That could go either way. That could go to extra time with. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna say City to win 2-1 after extra time. 2-1.
Lovely stuff. I was wrong. The semis are actually held at Wembley as well, so they are playing in front of the big stage. Jace, are you going for a City win or are you going for a Forest win on this one?
One of the greatest Wolves managers in my lifetime was Nuno Espirito Santo. What a man, what a manager, incredible. The job he's doing at Nottingham Forest, all Wolves fans do believe that could have been us had he been given even more time. I genuinely believe that Forest are going to beat Man City. I do. Forest, I can see him even winning it this year. I really can. Wow. I think he's a great manager, and I just want to make it. I just think even if Spurs, we've spoken about the poison chalice managers in and out. I think if they'd have stuck with Nuno, I know it wasn't great at times, but I think if they'd have stuck with him, I think they'd be in a better position than they are now, perhaps. But that's just my opinion, looking with my Wolves tinted glasses on.
No, I think there is always merit to a point of view, and it's just because Spurs were in such a shit show that we had to go through so many managers who either turned us down, got shot down by fans, got run off by fans, got bloody slandered for being racist or homophobic and sexist as well. Nuno was about option 12 and all of that. That was how much of a shit show our manager search was, where it was nearly 90 days since we sacked Mourinho before the cup final, appointing Mason as the interim, to then getting Nuno. He was already on the back foot and all that, mate.
He was up against it, but he's a good manager, as he's proving now.
I think he's a very astute tactical manager who plays a very attractive counter-attacking brand of football. I don't always like his low blocks. I think it lacks creativity at times, but he does have and he's got a team of players who have felt unloved and unwanted at their previous clubs, who he's brought together at Forest to remind me of the Leicester team under Claudio Ranieri, who had no right to win that at all, but because they played for each other, that's how Forest is. I don't think Forest are entitled to anything, but they are playing a good game where they're playing for each other and they're playing for the fans. And I think Forest have been my favourite team this year to watch, to be honest, at times.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But no, I'd love that. So if Forest could beat Villa, it'd really ruin one of my good mates' weekend because they are a Villa fan. So that would go down well. But obviously you've touted a new Nottingham Villa final, and John's gone for a Villa City final as well. But no, very enjoyable show tonight from everyone here. Obviously, we've done everyone's questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Harry's channel, as always, because he gets all of us together on a weekly basis and lets us have a bit of fun and actually talk what we all love, to be honest, away from the actual toxic environment, what football can be. But that is Game Week 33 review and Game Week 34 preview covered, with 2 FA Cup semi-finals in there as well. So thank you very much for my great panel tonight. We did get everyone here eventually, even though Spooksy's dongle has decided that he needs to go and top up his SIM card again. So we will eventually get Spooks back at another point during the season or next season. But Johnny, Oh, Jace, sorry. Fucking hell. Jace, sorry for that. I've got your name right all the way through, and then on the outro, I've ballsed it up. What a joke.
Don't worry about it, son. Like I said, I've been called a lot worse. Thank you for having me on, guys. Really appreciate it. You two guys, very, very knowledgeable. I've watched the great work Harry does as well, and I've got nothing but admiration for all of you. So well done.
No, really appreciate that, mate. Where can everyone find your content if they want to give you a shout out and a like and subscribe?
So on Twitter, X at Wolves Premier, and I host a podcast called Wolf. It's all audio at Wolf Whistle Pod, and with that, I've interviewed over 120 former players and managers of Wolves. So there's some great stories there. Like I said, it's all audio, so you don't get to see my ugly face.
No, wonderful stuff, mate. You're not that ugly. Don't worry. Your missus probably agrees as well. So you're all right on that one, mate. And John, obviously, one of my returning guests from this season. Me and you've worked together quite a lot this year. So I really appreciate all the time that you've given me out of your busy schedule as well. But no, pleasure to have you on tonight, mate. Where can everyone find all your content, and tell them about your blogs that you do for non-league and lower league clubs as well?
Thank you very much, Hassan. I mean, it's a new thing I've done, and I'll be doing like vlogs. I'll be doing like Copper Europe as well. I've done League One, C2, and the National Conference North, Conference South as well, and some Premier as well. So do check me out for that. My channel's John Sinclair TV. And which is we challenge to improving all the time. Since I've did this vlog instead of the Newcastle live shows and that, I don't do it anymore, unfortunately, because I just don't get enough views. And this is working out for me as well perfectly, guys. It really is. I mean, the last 3 games I've done Torquay United the other day, I've done Bury Saturday in front of nearly 9,000, and I've did Enfield against St Albans. Those are the last 3 vlogs I've done.
That's a local derby for me where I live. Enfield Town's where I work. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. I mean, look, it's not far from you. It's a lovely area and good game as well. Really enjoyed the game. 2,500 capacity as well, because up it as well. And I should have gone to St Albans against Hempstead, to be fair, but that's a big derby as well. And I'm doing that next season. So please give me channel a like, give me channel subscribe as well. And also, if you do not been to a Premier League game, if you haven't been to a Premier League game, or if you've got no games in the Premier League, please go and check out the local non-league sides. It'll open your eyes. You'll be surprised the standard of the game. You're going to get the atmosphere. You're going to get the passion. You're going to get that. And you'll be surprised. Look at the attendances on social media, yeah? York City, nearly 8,000, yeah? Southend United get 7,000 to 8,000 every home game. Yeah, this is the conference we're talking about. Torquay United, they get 4,000 every home game. Yeah, Kidderminster Harriers just over 3K, and Scunthorpe United against Chester City, 8,240 odd. Yeah, that's a record for Conference League North. That's Do go to non-league games. You can get a ticket for 15 quid. 15 to 20 quid, right? You can get a pint, you drink a pint in the stadium. You can get like a scran, right? Like pie and chips or cottage pie, whatever they've got. All that's for about 25 quid. You go to the Premier League, you're talking the best part of 200 quid.
True. No, exactly, mate. Exactly. So I really appreciate all the stuff you do as well. I am looking forward to when you cover a Leyton Orient game, because I've been following Orient this year as well. They have been mighty and they are pushing for the playoffs, which is always great to see. Obviously, big up to Spooks as well. You can find his content on X as well. His handle is, if I can just find it, it is Spooky the Maniac on X, and you can find all of his content there. His internet has been bad tonight, and his phone did run out. So obviously go and check him out as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all of Harry's content. He will be taking a little bit of a break out to focus on his exams in the next couple of weeks. So you'll have the unfortunate pleasure of listening to me on 2 podcasts a week, pretty much half the time, unless I am busy with work commitments or someone else has to cover my back because I'm too tired from doing these shows. But no, I love doing them. I'm always happy to help H out, and I've enjoyed doing all the stuff through the channel. So if you want to check myself out, you can find me at Kallum Stubbs 97 on X. You can find me on Park Lane Podcast on a Sunday night at 7 a.m. So go and check out Dave, Winnie, Wes and Luke. For that, you can also find Harry's content on a Monday, his daily vlogs as well, about all content about Spurs and different items around the footballing, and also his work with autism awareness as well alongside Barney. And you can find us going forward on a Wednesday night, 7:30 to 7:45 on the Premier League podcast, if anyone is interested. And don't forget to like and subscribe and get all your questions in. But obviously, thanks very much tonight, guys, and have a very good evening, good morning, and good afternoon.